A democratic society is built on the principles of social equality and the respect for individuals within that society. However, many persons of color, limited English speakers, women, persons with disabilities, people with low income, people affiliated with other religions other than Christianity, and LGBTQ do not experience equality that other members of society enjoy. Schools are one example of institutions in which power relationships exist. Students' working class rules are determined by teachers. Teachers are evaluated and disciplined when necessary by principals who report to the superintendent of the school. One of the struggles of youth is the construction of self, including identification, affiliation with one's gender and racial or ethnic group. Otherness, which is involved assigning characteristics, behaviors to the members of the groups to distinguish oneself from them. The construction of others places us either in a dominating or submissive role relative to the other people around you. Prejudice is the perceived negative attitude toward members of a specific ethnic, racial, religious, or social and economic group. This prejudice sometimes extends to the people with disabilities or other people of a different sexual orientation or gender. Attitudes towards specific ethnic, racial, religious, or social and economic groups or sexual orientation often are passed on to children through socialization process from parents and other friends and peers. Many students and family members have experienced discrimination through practices that exclude them from equal access to housing, jobs, and educational opportunities. Discrimination is different from prejudice in that it is more than an attitude against the member of a specific group. It is a process that prevents members of a specific group from practicing equal in society. Male students from low-income families are disproportionately assigned to special education classes. Affluent families are overrepresented in gifted and talented programs. Zero tolerance policies are beginning to be abandoned by school districts to allow educators to make the professional judgment based on circumstances of the incident. Educators are looking at options to reduce incidents in school that lead up outside of school suspension. They are moving to use of in-school suspensions to keep students in the learning environment rather than on the streets and unsupervised. Racism is intertwined with the lived experiences of people and invokes emotions of anger, guilt, and shame and despair. Racism is the conscious or unconscious belief that racial differences make up one group superior to another group. Families with a history of discrimination in society and schools may worry about how their children will be treated at school. These parents may distrust educators who are unable to acknowledge the role that racism has played in their lives. They may be accusing teachers or schools of being racist. However, the behaviors of those parents is usually incongruent with the school's view of positive and supportive parents. Teachers and school officials should avoid reinforcing the parents' perception of schools as racist and not caring about the success of their children. Your actions should show that you value the culture, language, and religion of the community in which you are teaching from. Dropping out of school is particularly critical in large urban segregated schools where only half of the African Americans, Native American students, and Hispanic students are completing high school, placing them at great risk for not earning substantial wages or being employed as adults. Sometimes these school districts are called dropout factories where less than 60% of high school students graduate in 4 years. Students from low-income families drop out of high school at higher rates than students from middle and high-income families. Students who complete high school are more likely than dropouts to be employed later in life. The ninth grade is a critical period in which students decide to leave school. Middle school and the beginning of high school are key times in which we need to be engaging students in their education. Schools and educators need to make curriculum relevant to their real lives of students. They need to be engaged with the subject they are studying. Growing up in poverty can place children and youth at risk for developmental delays, behavior problems, and poor academic performance. Students who are more at risk live in dangerous environments and have faced traumatic events that lead to health risks and threats to their safety. Students engaged in school is to relate the content to real-life experiences of the students and their families. When students are involved in hands-on projects that help them understand the subjects and develop critical thinking skills, they are usually more engaged in the learning process. Technology provides a valuable tool for helping students learn by drawing on resources which they are generally familiar with. The problem is that all families are able to provide the latest technology to support their child's learning.
and that these are the students that are most at risk for not completing school on time. Classroom computers may have graphic capabilities that allow students to design interesting presentations with audio and video. Math teachers have graphing calculators. Students can edit their own videotapes to produce a video. Communications are fairly easy when the school has the history of positive and supportive parents' engagement, and parents know that they are expected to work with teachers to support their child's learning. When teachers, schools, and families and communities work together, this improves the students' achievement, better school attendance, and lower dropout rates. Schools should help them understand the academic expectations for the class and how they can help their child at home. Family members should be equal partners in the conversation with you and the other school officials. With these conversations, you should not do all the talking. You should ask questions and listen to the parents' answers. Families from social, economic, and racial backgrounds similar to those of teachers who have more successful interactions with educators. Upper and middle class families volunteer to assist teachers and support school activities at higher rates than families with other backgrounds. Schools see these parents as supportive and caring who monitor the academic process of their child. Family members at low income levels may want to volunteer for work at the school, but their employers will not allow them to take time off. And some parents say the school culture is unfamiliar with them and they speak or say no English at all. 6 types of parent involvement with schools: communicating about school programs and the student's academic and social progress, volunteering in a wide range of opportunities the school provides for parents and community members to support students and the school, encouraging parents and guardians to help their child with their homework and other academic goals, include parents in making school decisions, support parents by having educators work with parents to help them improve their parenting skills, coordinating with the community by coordinating resources and services from and to the community.